I used to sit in church pews every Sunday as a kid, listening to the preacher talk about the things that Jesus did. I learned the stories, sang the songs about my head and prayed, but I never really felt it, just went through the motion state. As I got older, life got harder and the questions got too loud. I stopped showing up on Sunday, stopped pretending in the crowd. I walked away from church, but I never walked away from God. I just couldn't find him in the building when my faith felt flawed. So I started looking elsewhere, started searching on my own, and I found him in the places where I felt the most alone. I find him in the woods at dawn, when the world is still asleep, in the silence of the trees, where the air runs cold and deep. I find him in the campfire smoke, rising to the sky, and the stars that light the darkness when I'm asking God why. They told me he was in the church, but that's not where I belong. I find him in the wild, that's where my faith is strong. When I'm out there hunting, sitting quiet, waiting on a shot, that's when I feel closest to the God that I forgot. In the rhythm of my breathing, and the beating of my heart, and the way the world slows down and everything falls apart into something bigger, something I can't explain, something that don't need a sermon or a hymn to stake his claim. I talk to God when I'm alone beneath the open sky, when I'm struggling with the weight of life and asking him why the good ones die too young, why the broken stay that way, why some prayers feel unanswered no matter what I say. But even in the questions, even in the doubt and pain, I feel him in the wilderness like mercy in the rain. I find him in the woods at dawn, when the world is still asleep, in the silence of the trees, where the air runs cold and deep. I find him in the campfire smoke, rising to the sky, and the stars that light the darkness when I'm asking God why. They told me he was in the church, but that's not where I belong. I find him in the wild, that's where my faith is strong. Maybe faith ain't about a building or a Sunday morning song. Maybe it's about the searching, about the journey all along. Maybe God is in the struggle, in the fight to understand, in the quiet of the forest where you're reaching for his hand. Now I take my boys out hunting, teach them how to sit and wait, teach them how to listen to the word and contemplate. I tell them God is everywhere if you're willing to look around, 'cause sometimes the most holy places don't make a sound. When they ask me questions I don't have answers for, I tell them that's okay, son. Faith is worth fighting for. I find him in the woods at dawn, when the world is still asleep, in the silence of the trees, where the air runs cold and deep. I find him in the campfire smoke, rising to the sky, and the stars that light the darkness when I'm asking God why. They told me he was in the church, but that's not where I belong. I find him in the wild, that's where my faith is strong. Yeah, that's where my faith is strong.